Wrestling fans, more importantly, AWE fans, welcome to a special edition of Strong Style, where my guest at this time, he is the incomparable Joe Black. How are you, Joe?
Surviving and thriving, maintaining the band. How about
Absolutely.
you?
Everything's good on this side. Just I tell people keep moving forward and you should be good.
Word, word.
But of course, we have Joe on because there is a massive AWE show this Sunday at the El Palenque Center in Marietta, Georgia, and he just so happens to headline it. Now, I could argue that anytime Joe Black's on the card, he's the headliner, but I guess that's up for discussion with other people. Initially, for people who don't know, your opponent was Carly Bravo, and it was going to be for the championship. Carly got pulled in a different direction, had something come up. So they were able to bring in somebody who you actually share a past with. And of course, that is Cedric Alexander. What was it like when you found out Cedric was the new person in the match?
I'm gonna be candid and honest. It kind of pissed me off. Cedric's been doing his thing, ex WWE guy, current TNA dude. I've known Cedric since my career started 18 years ago. We're both North Carolina boys. But it's just something about stepping into a man's house and not wiping your feet on the doormat before you step foot into his house. I understand Cedric has to make his money, but I have to make my legacy. And I don't know if this is just a cash grab for Ced. I don't know if he's doing it for the reps. I don't know if he's doing it for the props, the familial ties we share. But either way, that lack of clarity kind of has me feeling some type of way. But a part of me was excited because I know this will probably be one of those type of matches where a moment is created, and Georgia is in sore need of another moment.
I would agree. I would agree. There have not been those big moments. I would argue actually one of the bigger moments in recent history would be you and Alexander Lev a handful of months ago. I think might have been that last big moment.
Agreed.
But as you said, I kind of this that point kind of I brought that up to other people too, and I was like, well, it's one thing to bring in somebody with the big name and the pedigree of Cedric. It's another thing to bring in somebody that's got a past with you the way he does as well. But as I've said before, this reincarnation of AWE is to me the house that Joe Black is building. And like you said, to kind of bring him in kind of out of the blue, yeah, it's a treat for a lot of people, and it's going to be a great matchup for you. But it does kind of feel like he didn't take his shoes off at the door.
Well, Ced is insanely talented. He's a family man. I know he means well, but still, um, this is a industry built off of ego and pride. And I may not have much in the line of ego because I don't really need ego. Everything I've ever said has been proven with action behind it. But I am a man of pride. And I feel like this is an affront to my pride that he could just come back to AWE. I said came back. He has a history in AWE as well. He was there before I was. But the fact you can't even hit up your brother and say, hey, thinking about coming into your house to do battle, what say you? I have to find out when everybody else does. But you know, AWE is coming back stronger than it's ever been, and everybody wants a piece of it. So I guess I understand.
Yeah, yeah. I guess we'll find out on Sunday exactly how business and how personal this really is between you two. Because, like you said, for people who don't know, you guys had very young origins where you were in the same circles, you were training together up in the Carolinas, I believe, and you took similar paths for a while. Now, granted, he was on the other path, and you've carved out the legacy that you have. Um, I don't think people understand that this is not necessarily a match, but this is basically a war between you two, is it not?
I would have to agree. It's a war not of superiority. It's not about titles. It's not about prop because we both know what we're thinking of. You know, you got Hall of Famers and former world champions. You already know with Sterner stuff. But this is a war of pride. This is a pride. So I keep using that word pride. A lot of wrestlers don't have pride. You know, they might have the talents, they might have the acumen. That's great, but they don't have the pride in what they do. Pride helps you wrestle through injuries, tears, contusions, sprains. Pride will help get you through a lot of personal tragedy. And me and Cedric are men built on pride. So this is one of those type of matches that devolves into something that stands the test of time. You know, they called me and William Huckabee a match, and I disagree with that. That wasn't something that you could prepare for. And even though I've changed up my eating habits and my training regimen, I'm already a pretty fit guy, but I think I'm in the best shape of my life just for this match. You know, I think that should tell a lot of people something. I trained for this like I'm Mike Tyson going against Evander Holyfield, except this one is going to end a little bit different. I don't need to bite Cedric. I'll just knock him the hell out. So I've done it before. Oh, one little factoid: in all of our years of battling, Cedric's never beat me. So here's that too. And I'm not a WWE guy. Fancy that.
That is an interesting tidbit. I was gonna ask what had happened when you guys had crossed paths before. As you said, you trained different for this one. This is different because of I think the personal aspects of it and the history and all the things like that. And for people who are new to AWE, during a main event, they invite anybody that wants to up to the ring to pound the mat and to give it that big fight feel. Well, first off, check your pulse. If this is not already big fight feel, wrestling might not be for you. Maybe you don't need to come to the show because this has got every feel of the biggest battles, the biggest wars in the history of the world. And beware too that if you do come to the front of the mat, they're not responsible for what might happen to you as well.
Viewer beware.
But to shift gears just shortly, um, walk us through a little bit the emotions of, the last AWE show ends with Carly, who kept his distance a little, but he was celebrating quite hard in the ways that only Carly Bravo can do, which is great. That's him. But he was doing it on and around the table you were seated at because you wanted to see that main event as much as anybody. Walk us through the emotions of that into finding out now it's going to be basically one of your wrestling brothers staring at you across the ring.
Carly was trying to send a message and he sent that message. All he had to do doing now egotistical, but imagine he's none of us. And the message was sent. So much so that the OG, the Venerable One Murder One himself, he went ahead and booked the match based off of that interaction. You know, I was just there to support a fellow Beat It brother. And he did that. And we were going to make it do what it do. And then, obligations. Carly is a contracted talent. So, he goes where he's told to go. He goes where the opportunity for work and more pay is. So now I don't start into that, making money. But when they said I didn't have an opponent, to me, that didn't really change the series a lot because I'm always ready, regardless of who it is. But when I saw the graphic, it kind of took me back to that 19-year-old kid in Burlington, North Carolina, being screamed at by Shane Helms and seeing how easily Cedric adapted to everything, how easily he picked up everything, and how much more I had to work for it. I remember a phone conversation we had. It was a couple days after training, and he felt good. He was riding high. He said, "How do you feel?" And I was like, "Well, all morning I've been pissed and blood. The Shane Helms had me hitting the rope until I got it right." And that's kind of rough, especially when you're 125 pounds. I had no muscle mass then. And it just pissed me off because I'm like, everything comes so easily. But now I feel like we've learned everything that we can. And the last lesson that there is to be gleaned is from each other. So, I mean, a part of me, like I said before, I got excited about it. I haven't been challenged. There's a lot of young kids I've been helping elevate their game. Great, he elevates me. Where's my challenge? Who's the guy that's going to make me better? And then here's Cedric. But then there's a part of me, the prideful side, it's like the nerve, the gall, the audacity. He's biting his thumb at me from Florida, and I don't know how savvy most of you are on Shakespeare, but that's serious disrespect. That's like throwing up your set in another man's face, and that's what he did. So yeah, it's a lot of emotions, mostly rage, fueled by pride.
Yep. And for people that don't know, you're usually a very reserved, laid back guy. You're very intense in the ring, but I do not envy being Cedric Alexander on Sunday with the emotions involved in this. It's going to be very brutal between the two of you guys. Like I said, beware if you were in the crowd. But as we're finishing up with Joe Black here, Joe, what would you say is what is your message to the fans about why they should check this out and why they should be as invested in this as maybe you and Cedric are?
Firstly, thank you to the fans, the true fans, not the marks that get on, X and social media and think they know more than those that are putting their lives and their livelihood on the line just for their entertainment. That pay their hard-earned money, they buy merch, come to a show to get away from the rigors of reality for a moment. And to them, I thank you. And to them, I also say this is something special. And I know that's redundant, right? I know that's cliche. That's a tired trope. A lot of these guys say this is going to be special, and it's just a match. But this one here, like I said before, it's a moment in time. There's something that permeates the atmosphere. There's something tangible about seeing this graphic of Cedric Alexander. He's in Atlanta and he's going head up with Joe Black. There's something palpable about this energy that's surrounding this. I have people that I haven't talked to from back home for years, decades almost, that are contemplating making the drive from all across the Carolinas just to see this. I got, Hall of Famers who are asking for a link to the stream to see, how they can watch and how they could partake. Um, the wrestling world has taken notice. And that's because they realize you have two lions, one that's been fed really well, and then the other one that's been starved. This isn't Scar versus Mufasa. This isn't about a throne or make believe crown. We're beyond that. This is about pride. And I feel like I should have been the chosen one and I wasn't. So I had to build my own mountain and Cedric had one built for him. So what I will say to fans and wrestlers alike, you will not see something like this anywhere else. You will not see anything of this magnitude in Atlanta or around the Atlanta area for some time. And this isn't just because he's a name coming in to do some work. This is because this is Joe Black versus one of the best Black athletes of all time. And Joe Black himself is one of the best Black athletes of all time. We've both learned from New Jack. We both learned from Booker T. We both learned from Ron Simmons. We both sat under the learning tree of a gentleman by the name of Casey McKnight, which is what he was known by, now known as Dax from FTR. Our OGs are the Hardy Boys. We went to the Hardy parties. We rapped with Jeff Hardy and we learned from Shane Helms. This is the culmination of 18 years of a boyhood dream, them boys becoming men within that dream and realizing the reality of the situation. Now, this part is a plea. This is Allen Jr. This is speaking to Cedric Johnson. No Cedric Alexander, no Joe Black. This is the person talking to the person. The father, I'm talking to you. I want you to go home to your little girl, able to play in the backyard with her. I want you to be able to go do all your other bookings and outclass all your other opponents. I want you to go on TNA and beat the shit out of Moose a little bit more. I want you to be able to do that. But if you play me lightly, if you think this is just us sparring like we did some years ago, if you think this is easy work, if you think you're the Goku in this equation and you can just walk through this match, this is just a cash grab for you. This is just a paid flight, right? If you come into the ring thinking that, Cedric, I will cripple you. And you know this. You've seen me do it. You've seen me put in work. And I just want to tell you, take me seriously. I'm not an ex WWE talent. I'm not an ex TNA talent. I'm just Joe Black. I did it my way. And there's not a lot of people of my stature that could say they did it their way. You know this. So if you don't step into that ring with the intentions to cripple me, to kill me, to destroy me, all those things will happen to you because I do love you and I consider you to be a little brother to me, neither enemy nor friend, because I'm back from a world with such words and meaningless. When that bell rings the first time, everything is blanketed in shadow and I'm fighting my own doubt, my own grief, my own ego. And then when the bell rings the second time and everything becomes corporeal again, I'm sorry for whatever happens to you. Because Alan takes a back seat when that bell rings. But when he comes back the second time, after that second bell ring, I'll make sure he apologizes. Savvy?
Onwards from an even stronger man. He is Joe Black. It is Joe Black versus Cedric Alexander in the main event for Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment, El Palenque Event Center this Sunday, 5 p.m. bell time, 420 doors open. There's tons of shows out there. None of them have this matchup, just as he said. So, Joe, I appreciate your time. I'm going to let you back to your evening and your training, and I will see you on Sunday.
Sure.
And for all you guys, we will see you guys Sunday as well. Thanks for tuning in to another great special edition of Strong Style. I'm Jeremy the Impact York. Go watch wrestling, especially independent wrestling.